Hey, I got an update for you, so after you finish watching the video, come back and I'll go ahead and discuss the update on today's events, alright? Let's go. Johnny Fontana, Real World NF Scorpio, back with another video. Today I'm going to make this video for both the INFJ and the Scorpio, because I can't leave my fellow INFJs behind. Today is going to be how to deal with the mind freaks, embarrassments, like the blunders, right? That dwelling. Just how do you overcome it? Let's get into it. So, before we get started, let me go ahead and tell you what happened, right? So obviously, everything for me is an experience. So whatever I go through, I come back and I have to tell you about it. So it basically helps you gain some perspective on how to navigate through this thing we call life, especially as a introverted, intuitive feeler and Scorpio. So today, we basically had to attend this organizational event. Okay, I am one of the points of contact in terms of leading the event, but my date was for the 29th, right? So it's every Thursday, and it's just sort of sprang up, right? They decided, okay, we're gonna go ahead and have you guys lead this, right? People take turns and so forth and so on. However, today was going to be just a special day where you're going to have more attendees, right? And so the point of contact for today's lead wasn't there. So we all gathered and it was like 50 people. So what happened was that it became to a point now where it's like, what do we do? Because the original lead is not there. And we're sort of looking, the other points of contact, we have our set days, but we're thinking, okay, man, like, what do we do? So this is, okay, hey, let's get the show on the road. And I'm freaking out because I realized that the two other leads, they really don't know what to do. And so I'm starting to feel that tension of like, like it's gonna come because they're gonna now rely on us because the original point of contact, he didn't even communicate with us to say, hey, I'm not gonna be there. That's a whole other story. So, again, because we're feelers, we sort of can anticipate. It's like, whoa, and I don't want, the actual chief, the division chief to start asking questions. Hey, who's gonna lead this? So I just decided, hey, let me get ahead and speak up. So I started now organizing everything, which unto itself is not really a bad thing, but still it's like I had to, number one, because I knew what was coming down the pipeline if I didn't step up, because the others, they didn't really know what to do. So I had to start winging it. So I was like, all right, let's get ahead and just, but I had to organize it in a way that I'm not going to go into details, but I had to buy some time. So I was able to organize something really quickly amongst the group so then I can, buy some time. And then so I can now coordinate with the other leads. And we're like, okay, boom, boom. But I can tell, like, I was the one who had to sort of create that. But I knew it was like, once that time is up that I sort of, bought, it's going to come back now, where I'm going to really have to step it up. So it's like, yeah, in the beginning I was making mistakes. I was forgetting names. Like, other people had to help me, remind me. And I'm like, oh my gosh. But it's all happening so fast. And I'm stuttering a little bit. And I'm not articulating properly. I'm not And again, it's like 47 people, and I have to speak a little loud because it's a big room. And I'm like, oh my God. So, we were able to sort of organize and split into sections. And, within my group, I was able to sort of, work it, and I was good. And I had to conduct a seminar as well. So I sort of got to that groove, and I was able to wing it. And then afterwards, we all came back as a group to discuss, the different techniques and so forth and so on, our shared experiences, any improvisations to look for in the future and all that stuff, any recommendations, all that stuff. And then I left, and then it's like every 2 seconds, oh man, because you're thinking about something that you did. Oh man, that person, was probably shaking their head when I made a mistake. Oh man. So, I know we've all been through it, right? It's like one of those things. I am here to tell you that it's not going to go away. You have to keep that into perspective. There is a reason why we are the way we are. We are introverted feelers. We feel things more intensely than others. However, we don't capture the paradox that we set in our minds. So let me explain. We always say to ourselves and to others, most people aren't as deep as us. They don't get us because we really get so deep and involved, and we think about the nuances and, the underlying factors and the sequences that come with this because we see the big picture. Again, we don't catch the paradox of when we now blunder, we're sitting here thinking, oh man, these people are thinking this, that, and the third, and that, and the third. We don't catch the fact that in our previous statements, we said that most people aren't deep. But then when we make mistake, we now keep thinking that people are so deep, so analytical, that whatever that we've done, they're going to hold on to that and keep dwelling on our actions. No, most people don't care. Most people experience it, see it, may make snide remarks, may even follow up the next time they see you with a remark, of like, oh, you messed up, oh, that was funny, and whatever. But guess what? They're not going to hold on to it like we do. They're not going to internalize it. They're not going to be like, oh man, I can't believe such and such did that. No, it happens, and they move on from it. Yeah, when they see you again, they may be reminded of that. But if you are competent, if you make up for it in your delivery, and it quickly goes away. People, like, the dust settles quicker with others than it does with us. For us, we just stay in our minds, and we're like, oh man, like even now, I'm talking to you, but I'm thinking of something else, and in my mind, even though I'm not visually twitching, but mentally I'm twitching right now. But I have to maintain composure. I have to manage, right? And others will say, don't worry about it. Stop overthinking. You're analyzing too much. Nobody cares. You're deep. I'm here to tell you, don't listen to those people. I'm here to tell you that, hey, yes, we are deep. That's how we function. Our ways of managing things and experiences is to overthink and to analyze. The problem that most of us have is that we give ourselves the worst advice. We don't really listen to ourselves. We don't provide ourselves perspective. So the perspective that I'm providing so that you can understand and grasp and be like, oh, okay, now I see. is that yes, you're going to feel it. You're going to have to go through it. You're going to have to. But while you're going through it, you have to think and put into perspective that most people don't care. Most people will experience it, see it, and it'll out of their mind. Like right now, no one's thinking about it. They're preoccupied with their own thing. Yes, you may have to face them tomorrow, and for that, whatever, you'll have to deal with that. Yes, it sucks. I'm here to tell you, it sucks. There is no way around it. The more you understand that yes, we are who we are, we will deal with these things. However, the key is to be able to manage them as they come through, as they come about. You don't let them know that you're hurting. That's the number one secret to being an INFJ and a Scorpio. Never let them know that you're hurting. Yeah. You messed up, you messed up. You're dwelling on that issue, but you have to dwell with perspective. There's dwelling just for the sake of dwelling in terms of, oh man, I'm never going to. And then there's dwelling with perspective. Dwelling and saying that, yeah, they don't really care. They're going to get over it. They're not really thinking of me. You see what I'm saying to you? You have to maintain it. And you're just going to have to overthink it. Think, how do you overcome it next time? And lastly, competency. You have to be competent. Yeah, you messed up. Everyone messes up. But then you also have to realize, especially when it comes to public speaking, most people would rather crawl under a rock. Like I literally felt like falling under a rock into a black hole and just saying no. But at the same time, I couldn't take the fact that someone was going to be like, hey, no one's stepping up. What's up? Let's go ahead and lead. I would rather me go through what I did than to have our chief division be like, hey, what's going on? No one's actually stepping up. That would have been like, you see what I'm saying to you? So I had to step up. So again, you're going to have these feelings. So how do you overcome them? It's just time. It's time. It's getting involved in other things to take your mind out of that. Okay? And competency, right? So next time, or whatever that you're involved in, you'll make a mistake, but as you are engaging in whatever activity that is, like at first it may be a little awkward, but then because of your competency level, you can sort of wing it and, allow it to happen and be a little bit more fluid. But then you say, okay, but then how do I make that happen? Again, continuous contact, continuous engagement, continuous experiences to build that level of competency. So then therefore when you arrive at these whatever, you can wing it, you'll make a mistake, but that mistake won't be constantly, oh, I messed up, I blundered here, blunder. It's like one of those things. Yeah, it's like a plane, right? It takes a while to get off, but once you sort of get up until a certain elevation, you're just cruising. That cruising is competency, right? So yeah, it's like you got a hard start, but because you've been experiencing, you've gone through these, right? You've gone through them, and that's why for me it's like, yeah, like I'd rather go through these than not go through them at all, because the moment you don't go through them at all and then you have to go through it, it sucks, right? So, but when you go through it constantly, when you just put yourself through these things, you build a sense of resiliency, you know what I'm saying? And all of a sudden you can just say, yeah. And guess what? Even though I blundered, even though I'm dwelling on whatever, but guess what? I know that I stepped up. no one else was going to step up. I had 50 people there. If they were in that position, chances are they would not have been able to do it. You know why I know that? It's because it was a team effort, right? It's one of those seminar things where you engage, with, your team members and all that stuff. And I had to call on other team members. All right, you go, give us an example, whatever. And people, they didn't know what to do. They didn't know what to say. They didn't know how to react, whatever. So, and sometimes I had to correct them. I had to speak up for them. I had to, finish their sentences or finish their thoughts. So, again, that's competency. That's me stepping up and following through. You see what I'm saying to you? But because I've been through it before, and that allowed me. But I know that most people would not have been able to do what I did, and everyone looked to me to guide them. Even though, whatever, we were all in that same place, but I was the one who, okay. So the perspective there. So let's say you're in school and let's say I'm speaking to the younger ones. Let's say you're in school and you have to give a class speech, and it's like, oh man, I'm stuttering. I did that in the third. Yeah, guess what? For the next couple of days, you're gonna be dwelling over it, but you realize, guess what? You're not the only one. Keep that perspective. And number two, most people, you messed up, and then they forget about it. We're the only ones dwelling and I can't believe this, and oh man, I can't believe that part. And every little moment you remember someone twitching their head and doing this, or putting their head down and looking forward. Like if you make a mistake, they make a noise, or they do this, or there's whatever, because they may be embarrassed for you or whatever like that, and that you recall and all that information. We are doing that. They're not anymore. It happens for them, but for us, right, we stick together. So, again, don't let anyone tell you that it's not okay to dwell with perspective. Dwelling just for the sake of dwelling, right? That's different, right? When you keep rehashing unhealthy behavior because you want to feel connected and understood, that's totally different. But when you dwell with perspective, it's basically analyzing, assessing, going over issues, and just committing yourself to these particular events, right? And know that other people aren't thinking about it as much as we are. You see what I'm saying to you? And you also have to develop that level of competency, that level of follow through, okay? And how do you do that? Through these many exposures. These blunders, these embarrassments, these are what help us. So then we go back, and when we just take notes and we analyze and we assess and be like, okay, yeah, now I know I need to do this better. I need to get in plans. And the next time you come back around, guess what? You're going to be spot on. And for me, what did I do at the end? I apologized. Because remember, I said it was spur of the moment. I had to think on my feet. I apologized. I said, listen, hey, just want to get ahead and apologize. It was a spur of the moment, for, some of the disorganization. But going forward, it's going to be, it's going to be well planned out. So, whatever. So you say that, right? And people respect that. People know, hey, you know what? Yeah, we messed up. It was kind of jacked up. It was up, right? And I say it was fucked up, right? But you let people know, hey, I fucked up. It is what it is, but going forward, it's not going to happen again. People will respect that, right? And that's what I did, right? I was the one that stepped up. No one else did. Because again, why did I do that? Because that tension. I don't want people going back and thinking, oh, these guys are fucked up, or he fucked up, or he did that, whatever like that. That's in our mind. That's what we do. So how do you counter that? You get ahead and speak up. You communicate. You do what you need to do so that you minimize, that settling of dust. Johnny Fontana, real world NF Scorpio. Just wanted to get ahead and bring that up because I experienced it, and right now I'm still trembling right now. You can't probably see it, but that's why I'm having a drink. I'm not alcoholic, I don't drink a lot, but I just needed to unwind and make this video and give perspective, and that's what I think. I think of you, right? It's not a lot of subscribers, 100 subscribers, and I appreciate you. And that's, it's more intimate. It's like 100 people. It means a lot to me. So I'm saying to you, I'm not into the whole thousands, because then that's when you have thousands of people, I can't control them. I need a nice intimate crowd, and this is what I'm providing to you. Okay, so I'm experiencing the same thing you experience. I'm no different. Only thing is that I've had experiences, right? And I go through these, and when I go through these, I'm passing the information on to you. Like I said in my last video, that's my thing. Like, as a Scorpio, we're controlling with this, but I have information. I'm not going to hold it onto myself. I'm going to pass it on to you so that you can be better. You can, be able to withstand whatever that comes your way. All right. If you have any questions, info@boothridertv.com. So now we're back, right? Just want to get ahead and give you an update on what happened today. Yesterday, even after I made that video, I was just like every so often, even though I went out, did some shopping, but like every so often, like these thoughts would come into my mind, and I would just like mind freak. I'd be like, whew, and I'd have to sort of shake it off. But again, like I said, it's one of those things where we just can't help it. Like, it's just going to happen, right? Like, it's just who we are, and like we have to come to terms with that, right? But again, it's just following through, pushing forward, right? And being able to better manage it. And just through, analysis, right? But with perspective, not just dwelling on the negative, but really seeing things from all areas, from all angles, right? The positives, the negatives, what can we do, in the future? How can we make up for it, So, funny thing is, today, when I woke up, again, it was just like every so often, I'm like, I'm going to be met with what have you. So, for me, I don't like things that haven't been resolved, right? I don't like things that are just out there. I like things to sort of have a place. Okay, I like that peace of mind. So the way that I do it is I ask. Okay, obviously because of my ability to differentiate between the A-type personalities, the introverted types, the more sensitive, I know who to direct my questions to. So I was just like dying to know, I said, hey, I brought someone over. Hey, just, out of curiosity, what did you think of yesterday's event, It was okay, it was good. So there wasn't anything that had to do with me. So again, it's like we are in our own heads, right? Just, going through, and it had nothing to do. Even when that particular person asked someone else, hey, what do you think about yesterday's event? But that question was based on the event itself, not me actually leading it, because the mindset is not of who's leading it, but more so the actual event. It's kind of hard to explain, but again, their mind wasn't with regards to me, and I overheard that conversation. So I went to another office because I had to conduct some business, and it's one of the persons that I'm fairly fond of. She's an introvert herself, and the moment I walked in, she was like, hey, by the way, I liked the event yesterday. I liked your event. And I was taken back. I was like, whoa, you know? So then therefore that opened the door for me to say, whoa, whoa. So then I explained to her, yeah, so this is what happened, you know, I was, it sort of snuck up on me and whatever, but did you hear anything? Did you get any vibes? And no, actually it went pretty well, you know. So again, it goes back to what I was saying yesterday, that most people aren't really concentrating on you. It's like they have other things to worry about. Yeah, they may be upset at the fact that they may have to stay at work a little longer, or they may have to, be involved in some event that they really could care less about. But they're not really focused on your blunders, your errors, your mistakes. It's only us that are like so, dwelling on that. So, but here's the thing though. So today we had an afternoon brief, just before the weekend, just to sort of go over what went through for the weekend, and like a staff meeting sort of, right? Slash briefing. And my division chief said, hey, Johnny, why don't you get ahead and brief us on such and such and such and such, out of nowhere. And that wasn't my brief. It's usually, someone else who's actually tasked with that brief, but they're given, notice beforehand so they can prepare. So that person, so my division chief was just, hey, give that brief, and I was like, whoa. So I had to, again, a flashback of like, whoa, what do I do? So I had to just, again, remember what I told you about yesterday, right? These experiences that whenever they come up again, because you've been able to overcome and you were able to sort of, come through on these last experiences, these next ones will be easier and be met with more competency. You see what I'm saying to you? So today I just had to just rise to the occasion again. Even though I was nervous, because I wasn't prepared. And for us, it's not about being nervous in front of crowds. That's one thing that you really have to understand. And it's not necessarily like, oh, well, we can't deliver our message. It's like, for me, like, I need to be prepared. Like, I'm a cheat whore. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that. Like, I mean, meaning like, I like to have everything planned out, prepared before I give anything, before I give any speech, before I, do anything, because I don't want to make mistakes. I don't want to feel whatever. So everything has to be like perfect, right? So it's like, we're like, what do you call it again? Like perfectionists, right? So everything has to be well planned out, before like the final draft, is presented. But in this case, it wasn't. They were like, hey, you do it. So I was like, oh, man. I was like, all right, let's go. But in my mind, I'm like, ooh, I'm dying inside. Then I gave it, whatever. And so I went up to my division chief afterwards, because I needed to know, like, why? What's up? Like, why did you do that? Like, because we were together yesterday. So what made you decide that you want, out of the blue, just have me? Because you never call on me like that. So why did you do that? And he's like, no, I felt like you needed to say something. Like, I felt like there was something there that needs to come out. And I'm like, okay. Because he's an INFP, actually. And like I've told you about the INFPs, they always trying to figure us out. Always, like they're sort of mesmerized by us. Because for us, the INFJ, it's like we're very secretive. So we'll rise to the occasion and we'll, what do you call it again, employ different characters, like at different times. And for them, a lot of the INFPs, they don't get it. They're like, whoa, like I didn't see that. Like there's something there. Like, because for us, we're hidden. Like we do our things like behind closed doors. And so they're intrigued by the fact that we can just all of a sudden be like, oh, and just rise. And they're like, oh, I didn't know that was there. Like, oh, I want to know more. I want to see more of that. So for the INFP, it's like, hey, I want to see more of where that. So I'm going to go ahead and challenge the INFJ, to rise. We're talking about developed INFPs and developed INFJs. When you talk about unhealthy, the ones who are dwelling into their feelings, that's different. We're talking about people in a professional setting. So, yeah, and then but I was able to ask one of my mentors. I spoke to you before about him. He was my previous supervisor. And I would say, hey, what's up with that? Like, so why did the division chief call me out like that? I don't know, because he's got full confidence in your leadership. I was like, wow. So which means that all the overthinking and this, that, and the third was for good cause. Because most people say, oh, well, it was for nothing. No, it was for good cause because it means you care. It means you're going through your mistakes, you know, like, and you're going through things in your mind that other people don't. So that's why I say don't listen to the people who say just let it go. Because it's a reason why we are the way we are. Johnny Fontana, Real World NF Scorpio. We out.